Saving a document for the first time in Microsoft Word 2010 is generally quite straightforward. There are some options, however, that you should be aware of. Just to the right of the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a small icon that looks like an old-style floppy disk. If you click on that icon, the Save As dialog box opens up. You can save directly from here. I'm going to cancel that and show you that you can also, on your keyboard, press Control S to get the same dialog box. Alright. Now, the standard menu access would be to click on File, click on Save, and we're looking at the same box. Now, by default, your documents will be saved in your My Documents folder. You'll be prompted for a file name. And you can simply click Save to have that document with that name appear in your Documents folder. The default type will be the Word document, docx file format, and that's the end of it. However, you may want to change the authors associated with the document. You can add an author, and you can also select and remove an author. Similarly, you can add tags, and both author and tag are useful to put in if you're going to have a large collection of documents and you want to be able to sort them or search them depending on who wrote them or what the subject tags are. You can choose to save a thumbnail with your document so that instead of just seeing the Word icon in a file list in Windows Explorer, for example, you'll see a thumbnail of the first page of the document. And to the left of the Save button, there's a drop-down that has several tools. The first one is to map a network drive. So if there's a network folder that you're commonly accessing to save documents in, you can map that to a drive letter. And in that way, up here, when you go to the computer section and you see the drives, your drive that you've mapped to a drive letter would appear in this area. For example, this Mercury Empire Drive E is a mapped drive letter. Alright, it makes it much quicker and easier to access that network location, not only from Microsoft Word, but from other applications as well. Alright, now the Save Options choice brings you to the general default save options for all documents in Microsoft Word. Here you can choose the format that you want all documents to be saved in by default. You can set the time on Autorecover saves. So every 10 minutes by default to this folder here, the Autorecover file location, copies of your document will be saved. So if your computer crashes, turns off suddenly, you'll never lose more than 10 minutes of work. You can go to this folder and pull up the Autorecover document. In fact, Word, if it notices that your computer has crashed, will offer you the choice of recovering from your Autorecover folder automatically. And of course, your default file location is going to be your Documents folder for the current logged in user, but that can be changed to any folder or any drive that you wish. Alright. There's offline editing options for document management. There's fidelity settings. So we can apply to just this document or to all documents in terms of embedding fonts within the file. That can be useful if you're using custom fonts that you don't expect that people that you're distributing to will have installed on their system. If you embed the fonts, they're going to be available within that document regardless of whether they have the font installed. Alright. As well, general options for this particular document, you can set a password to be required to even open and view the document, or you can make it universally viewable but have a password required to modify the document. And of course you can set both, right? You can check off read-only to mark the document as read-only to prevent casual or accidental editing, right? And you can change your macro security options if you've created macros within the document. Now, if you're choosing to save as a web document, okay, like single file web page or web page here, you can go to the web options, which controls graphics formats, features supported by various browsers, CSS options. You can choose how files are organized. You can choose your target screen size. The default is fine for most purposes, but you may know that you're targeting smaller or larger screens and set that appropriately. Pixels per inch for images and other elements. You can jump into encoding and tweak the code pages for your HTML documents, as well as set the default fonts. Alright. And the final choice lets you compress pictures. The first group, where it says compression options, and offers to delete cropped areas of pictures. If you've cropped a photo that you've pulled into Word, the full photo is still available within the document. It's not visible, but it's still a part of the document. Leaving that checked off will actually crop out the non-visible portions of the image and probably shrink your file size considerably. Target output print at 220 pixels per inch is a fair high resolution for professional printing. Screen at 150 pixels per inch or email at 96 brings those values down to significantly decrease the size of your document if you have many photos. And if you don't want Word to mess around with the resolution of the photos at all, just check use document resolution and they'll remain untouched. Alright, so you can see that while saving can be simple and basic, there are several options available to you that may come into play depending on what kind of document you're building and what kind of distribution you intend for that document. Now, if you found this video useful, please subscribe to Help Video Guru on YouTube.